You know, after 100 plus episodes, I think I finally figured out what direction I want to take this show. I'll be right back. Alright, comic gurus, let's dig into Mighty and Morphing Power Rangers number 1. Mighty and Morphing Power Rangers was a show that debuted on Kids WB in the late 80s to early 90s. It used footage that was imported from China from some stupid show that didn't even speak English. Not like me though, I am good grammar and spelling, since as you know, it takes very long time to make these videos. I mean, it just takes forever to read a comic book and scan in pages, and then I add special effects. See? This took me 3 weeks alone! Now, I was a big fan of Mighty and Morphing Rangers when I was a kid, but the comics they made out of them are just awful. When you think of one of the worst comic books ever made, I guarantee that Hamilton's Power Rangers comic is probably in your top 5 list. It makes me so frustrated that I'm gonna make an angry face at the camera, then hold it there for several seconds as if my jokes are so funny that I need to give people a chance to laugh. The first thing you'll notice about this comic is the cover. This cover sucks because it doesn't have the Green Ranger on it. What about the White Ranger? Is this big green space on top supposed to be the Green Ranger? They didn't even get the colors right. And look at this artwork. Couldn't they get somebody talented like John Kirby or Jason Lee? Didn't they even test this cover before they released it? This was made by Hamilton Comics, a company that I hear was made in the 1970s. This comic was made to compete with the other Power Rangers comics made by Marvel Comics at the exact same time. The next thing that's stupid about this cover is the logo. Does this look anything like the logo for Power Rangers? It looks like they wanted to make the lightning bolts as if it was in 3D. But guess what? This comic isn't in 3D. That is so stupid. Why pretend like it's 3D if it isn't? I mean, a logo can go a long way, but why doesn't this look anything like Power Rangers Samurai, a series that only came out on Disney? The comic begins and we see the title, The Menace of Dracula. Well, guess what? I read this whole comic, and we don't even get to see Simon Belmont. Come on, Power Rangers fans want Simon Belmont in these new comics. Why don't they have him as an unlockable story? So what's even going on here? Where's the introduction that tells the story of the comic that we'll be reading? You mean I actually have to read the dialogue balloons for that? I can't waste my time reading the dialogue balloons. I just gotta read the comic. This artwork is awful. I mean, just look at this. Maybe if they had a few less pages in it, they'd have enough room in the comic to make the artworks look as good as the remastered version, with digital coloring and Photoshop effects. And who are these people? Do they look like any Power Rangers characters we've seen? Where's Tommy, the Gold Ranger? And who's this guy? Why can't we even see what he looks like? After doing some research, I discovered this character's name is Bill. That reminds me of that stupid character Beta Ray Bill, who sucks because I couldn't read his comic, and that's clearly the comic's fault and not mine. It doesn't matter how awesome a concept he is or how good the stories are, because I'm irate and therefore never wrong. I know that has nothing to do with this comic, but I just can't get over how awful it was. And what are they doing? Looking at bugs? I don't want to look at bugs. That's gross. I read comic books while I'm eating a tasty bowl of Yummy Mummy and drinking Kool-Aid, and now I have to look at bugs? Breakfast is ruined! So then we turn the page and, oh, what the hell, it's upside down? They couldn't even print this comic right side up? This is so frustrating! How can anyone be so stupid as to not notice that? And look how long it takes for me to turn the page! You see how long that took? Why isn't Ernie in this comic? It's not like he was some extra character added in the last season. He was right there from the start. Even though this comic isn't all that bad, it does have its share of flaws. For one thing, look at Lord Fred. Just look at him. How come he doesn't look anything like he did in the movie this comic is based on? This comic is a great throwback and predecessor to the original Marvel Comics Power Rangers comics. And those comics were meant to compete with the Super Nintendo NES system. Man, how am I ever going to get through this comic? I suppose I could actually try reading it and going from page to page, but no, I can't because I'm hung up on something that I can easily overcome. Bulk and Skull are also in this comic, but who cares about them? The really great thing about this comic is that Bulk and Skull are in it. Oh man, this review is just taking forever. I've really got to use my irate comic knowledge to fire on all cylinders and get through this. This is so stupid! The only way you'll ever be able to get through this comic is by cheating. That's why I got myself a comic gin device. We input the codes, and now we're home free. So on the last page, we see these stupid people again. We don't even get to see any extra readable characters. No power-ups, no special features, nothing. We didn't even get to see the Zords battle. I better call the police because I just got bulked. This comic is stupid and I'm blowing it up. Well, I'll see you all again in 3 months when I release the 15th part of my History of Comic Books videos, which are apparently a separate series unrelated to the reviews, yet somehow elements of it are incorporated into my videos as ongoing narrative. We'll be covering how Stan Lee may have been rumored to have worked with John Kirby and Al Acorn to create the Phantasmic Four.